what they want and what they need is to, one, cleanse themselves from the awful grossness of every topic I've had to address today. But we also trying to figure
Yeah.
out how to keep the glow, the summertime glow. Now, we are melanin
Yeah.
rich people. We want to maintain that melanin richness. Some of us just learned we're supposed to be protecting our melanin with some sunscreen. But you got some information, and we also need to consider about how to keep the melanin popping. And cannabis might actually help play a role. Talk to us, sir. What do you have?
Yes, yes, yes. So a couple of, what was it, like last month we did Summer Skin Part 1.
Yep.
We talked about we getting everyone ready for summer. We now in the thick of it. It's the end of July, so it's hot outside and
Yes.
everybody's out. Everybody's outside. They ain't got no clothes on, trying to be at the cookouts, the picnics, the beach, the
This
pool,
is this is
the
the part of the
rooftop.
summer. This is the part of the year in New York City where New York City can smell really, really stinky, but you don't even care because it's summer in New York City and it's great and we get
Right,
over it.
right. The asphalt is sticky. The concrete is hot. You know what I'm saying? When I was a kid, we used to have the fire hydrants on. We
Of
used to call
course.
them Johnny. We used to call them Johnny pumps. I don't even know why we call them. Then the cops used to shut us down and put the
Also that.
sprinkler cap on it. They used to put the sprinkler cap, and we couldn't use our little tomato cans or whatever to like splash the car. We used to do all types of stuff.
You got some
So
good New York City summer memories. You should see the joy on your face as you remember your childhood.
running,
I love that.
turning on the hydrant. And listen, I'm original. Like we knew how to open the hydrant up with no wrench. It was like a coat
Oh.
hanger, wire coat hanger,
Oh, that's a
and
skill
like
set.
some sticks. Yes, wire coat hanger and like a pipe or some sticks, and we turned that into a wrench. So that's how far I go, connecting the
You know
boom
what?
box to the street lamps.
Black people are undefeated. We will use sticks and a wire hanger to open up your federally closed fire hydrant so we get some joy. You can keep us out your pool if you want to. We're gonna have more fun on our blocks
We
anyway.
gotta open up first, right? Don't come out putting that little BS ass sprinkler
I
cap
know
on.
that's right.
And
Mm-mm.
so, one of the things we're talking about the skin situation is that there's this kind of perception, and we didn't do it, but that we don't need to care for our skin as much as
Yeah.
our you know, genetically unblessed people here who are lacking melanin, right? And so who are not kissed by the love of the Lord, by God's love, right? So who
Listen, what's
do not
weird is
have rich. Uh,
well, no, go ahead, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, no, no.
Oh no, I was
I don't
gonna
want to
say what's
interrupt.
weird is that we have people who pride themselves on a feature that is genetic, that cannot is not something that they had anything to do with. That is a recessive gene that makes it really hard to survive in hot weather. And the entire world is warming right now. And I'm just trying to figure out, does this make sense for y'all to cling to this thing? Because it's gonna be very difficult for you to navigate this climate change world that you are contributing to, considering you ain't got the complexion for the protection. But what do I know? I'm
Yeah,
just,
it's
just a
hard to
black girl trying to
stand in the power of God's light without melanin for long. You know, it
Mm,
is hard to stand in the blessing of God's light if you ain't got melanocytes putting out this rich, velvety, luxurious melanin that we got in this skin. And so the perception is that though, like our skin is like resilient, infallible, and we don't need to take care of it. But like any high quality luxury item, it does need to be cared for, right?
mm.
And it goes beyond just like applying your shays and your cocoa butters, right? And it's to make
Which we do
sure
liberally,
we
because the
do
shea butter be
liberally.
shaying. Hmm.
The velvety, it keeps us food. But there are things. Last time we talked about some of the things that happen, and there's much more to it. And seriously, the idea that our skin that's melanated is being cared for and approached in a way that all the other skin in Western medicine is treated is doing us a disservice in terms of how we approach caring for our skin, how we diagnose it, right? And
Mm,
also how we personally like to take care of ourselves, right? So we talk about
right.
this all the time that, culturally, indigenously, we just have a different vibration when it comes to how we want our health and wellness
Right.
routines, healthcare provided. And, a lot of the funky stuff, the man-made artificial stuff, we don't want, we don't like it, and it doesn't treat us well. And it's
Mm.
really not designed for us. So we're trying to fit ourselves into a space that's not really built for us or accommodates ourselves well.
And then when you add the fact that we aren't very educated about what type of products we should or should not be putting on our skin, there's an interview that we recorded because I'm going to be traveling a lot for the next couple of weeks. There's an interview we recorded with somebody who's part of an agency that tracks the chemicals that we put in our bodies. And I was horrified, Dr. Damas. And what was really horrifying was that Black people, as a cultural group in this country, we over index in skin products, but we're not necessarily over in cosmetic products, I should say, not just skin products. But we do so in ways that allow for the introduction of a lot of harmful chemicals into our bodies that frankly is very, very dangerous.
Yeah, we did talk mention a little bit about the effect of some of the things that we put in the hair and fibroids and things like that. And there's more and more research coming out on that.
Yeah.
But today, we're going to talk about some things. We'll talk about melasma. We're going to talk about pseudofolliculitis barbae, which is razor bumps. We're going to talk about Tinea versicolor, which is like skin fungus. And we are going to talk about heat rash, malaria. Excuse me, not miliaria, not malaria. malaria is if malaria is what we're protected by having the sickle cell trait and not disease, not
Oh,
malaria. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
I didn't. So wait, sickle cell developed evolutionarily as a response to malaria, so you would not get malaria. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Am I hearing you correctly?
Yeah,
I
if
never
you
knew
have the
that.
trait, you're protected. Yeah, the disease that doesn't, it protects you as well, but it comes with early mortality. But if you have the trait,
Right.
you're protected. Yeah. So it's one of
Wow.
the things that we have, but then, the genetic experiment that was forced upon us, which is, slavery, forced us to breed and interbreed in ways where it
Right.
created a preponderance of people with the trait
Mm.
mating one another and developing the disease.
Wow.
And so that's why, and that's not good for us. But that's another subject another day,
Yeah.
because we do things for people who have sickling crisis, with their painful crises with cannabis. So, but that's another topic, right?
Okay.
That's today
We
we're
might need to
talking about
address
that
that.
big shit.
We may need to address sickle cell and cannabis in a whole episode because I had some
Mhm.
family members who are navigating some close friends who are navigating that journey. So yeah, okay, very good. So let's
Yeah,
talk
good.
about the time is not our friend. Oh, and we have a call. We have a call already. We ain't even got started. All right, Dr.
Already,
Damas.
we ain't even
Usually
seen
people.
them.
We ain't even said
This is
nothing
like
yet except
around.
how great it is to be Black. Let's
Hey.
get Big Daddy on the call. He's listed here as
I
Big Daddy. I did not. I'm just reading
I
what's on the
love
screen.
it.
Big Daddy from Ohio. Let's get it correct.
Hey,
Thank you for
hey,
calling.
okay. I'm gonna do this. How you
Hey,
doing,
it's a mother
Lorene?
trucker. Oh yes.
All
Yeah,
right.
and how you doing, Dr. Damas?
What's up, brother? How you feeling?
Hey, I'm doing good. And everybody, it's Laree, but sound like Marie, but with an L.
That's it. Yeah,
Okay?
yeah, you see, you
Yeah.
Yeah,
are a
right.
fan that pays attention. Thank you, sir. What do
All
you
right.
have for Dr. Damas today? What's your question?
My question is, Doc, I'm a truck driver, and through the
Uh-huh.
years of with all the weather, flatbedding, and then uh, running New York City, unloading meat, arthritis, and a lot of the stuff we can't use because we have to take
Hmm.
drug tests. Is there a cream that myself, like other truck drivers, can use for arthritis that doesn't show up
Hmm.
in our urine as being dirty?
All right, good. So that's a great question, and we got answers for that. There are. So first of all, any topical cannabinoid preparation, CBD, THC, whatever that you put on your skin, it doesn't absorb through the skin and get into your blood system. So that's number one, right? So you wouldn't test positive for whatever what it just doesn't work that way. But we do have a body rub, and we do have the Roliever, which is great for skin as well. And the body rub also works for our skin diseases. So if you go on the website, drdamas.com, click on the topicals, you'll see the CBD body rub, and you also see the reliever, and that doesn't have any cannabinoids in it, and you can rub it and you're free and clear. And we got to keep you righteous, right? And make sure while you're on the road, you take breaks, you stretch, you walk around. The stretching is really important. You're sitting in a position for long periods of time. You'll lose some mobility. Use it or lose it. So make sure you plan breaks and move around.
Nice. Big Daddy, did that help?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. And I've been at this for 30 years, so that's why I got into the flatbed game because I'm always throwing 30-pound and 100-pound tarps, throwing chains, dealing with steel. So I appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing, Doc. Love you, Larry. And next time I call, Larry, I got somebody that want to talk to you.
Okay.
So,
well, listen, please call back because I got, and I'm gonna have to go home and explain to my husband why I'm calling some other man Big Daddy. But we gonna we gonna make. I'm gonna say he's a mother trucker. He's a friend of the show. So you go ahead and give us a call back anytime, sir. Appreciate you. I can already hear it now. Who is Big Daddy? Who else is Big Daddy? Let me stop because it's about to go in a whole other direction.
I don't have to answer the calls because I'd have been like, nah, I'm not calling him that.
Like I need another name.
I would have called him.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny.
Brother Big.
Brother Big. I like it. Yeah. All right. Now we done used up a lot of time talking about non-skin related things, although that arthritis situation is real for a lot of people. So I'm glad you got a chance to mention that.
Yeah. So one of the things, the body rub that we do have, it does deal with our arthritis, but it also deals with a lot of skin conditions because of the varied effects of CBD and cannabinoid. It's an antifungal, it's an anti-inflammatory. And so when you're looking at things like, say, let's jump into one of the subjects. What do you want to jump in? Which one you want to talk about? The skin conditions?
I want to.
Well, the melasma?
Let's do melasma because I feel like we talked about some of these the last time you're here, but let's talk about melasma so people are clear about what it is and how they might be able to benefit.
So melasma, if you've ever noticed, so one of the things that, I would say like Western industry, skin beauty and things is kind of like this generic impression of us being this like monolithic skin color thing, right? So we have ranges of skin, light skinned, dark skinned, brown, red, whatever you want to say. And then within that, your own skin, you can have variations from part to part, right? So you can have different amounts of melanin in one area compared to other areas, right? Melasma is when you get these changes in skin color, these patches of skin discoloration, darkening of the skin. And it usually happens in people who are medium to darker skin, right? There's like a skin rating scale. So it's the Fitzpatrick skin. I don't even know who that is, but everybody gives him credit for that, right? But if you read the blog article, it's on there. And what happens is sometimes it's also called the mask of pregnancy. And it's related to two things: hormonal changes. So when you get pregnant, there's hormonal changes. If you're taking contraception, you may see that. It shows up in the face with like these splotches of dark skin. And it happens.
That's the same thing that's called hyperpigmentation, or is hyperpigmentation different?
So hyperpigmentation is the general name of like what happens as a result of these conditions. And then it happens for some reason or another, really hot temperatures and climates. So, so it may be because of hormone changes, sun exposure, and the climate, but instead of darkening altogether uniformly, areas of the skin just get darker, right? And what happens is that people don't feel good, right? So your cosmetic appearance, it changes the way that you look, which changes the way that you feel. When people say if you look good, you feel good, right? So me, I'm always feeling good. So that says something about how I look, doesn't it? Now,
moving on. I already done called a man Big Daddy. I'm not commenting on anybody's looks. All right,
not saying that.
Brian,
Listen,
I'll be home soon, baby.
Brian's my dude. So
he's somewhere cracking up right now.
So what can happen is that it causes a lot of like psychological kind of distress, right? Although it's not like, oh my God, I'm gonna have this kind of like horrible skin causing pain or whatever. But if it's all over your face, right, then you're not. Professionally, it can take away from your confidence. Personally, it takes away from your confidence, socially, and all that. And so we don't want to disregard the impact that personal appearance has on our life, on our lives.
Mm,
And this is
right.
something that uniquely happens to people of darker skin, these splashes of darkness that come along, right? And then also, we don't want to go too deep into this, but there's also some of the caste system and colorism stuff that takes place that we gotta kind of wade ourselves through.
That's right.
And so when people are trying to take care of this, people can do crazy things like try to bleach themselves or bleach the patches. You do not want to do that, right?
Mm,
Bleach is, you see what it does to your clothes and your and your laundry, right? You don't want to be putting that stuff all over your body. That's a big cultural thing in a lot of parts of the world. People bleach their skin, so you don't want to stay from that. Some people do peels and lasers and stuff, and that can cause a lot of irritation. So a
wow.
couple of things that you want to do is kind of, we do need a certain amount of sun protection if you're the kind of person that is susceptible to that, right?
Mm.
Myself, the more I stay in the sun, the more powerful I become. It's like I'm a battery, I'm a nuclear power plant. You put me
Mm.
in front of those sun's rays, my muscles get bigger and my mind just, look, I'm talking crap.
Oh, wait, but you know what? As you're talking crap, as you're doing that, I'm reminded of all of the elders who would tell us to stay out of the sun. And even though we're kind of fictionalizing the power, perhaps, in addition to separating us from our spiritual practices by causing us to
Mhm.
fear darker skin, in some ways we are continuing to play ourselves. Just a little something
Yeah,
that,
don't
that
play
came to me
yourself
as you
out
were
there.
talking. Don't play yourself.
Right.
It's a bad
And
thing.
so don't play yourself. So make sure you do keep a certain amount of, like, the more melanin you have, the darker your skin, the more protection that you have, but it doesn't make you like completely impervious to high amounts of ultraviolet sun. It doesn't,
Mm,
right? And so, there's a good amount and there's too much, right? And so
yeah.
we all know that. And so what CBD can do is decrease some of the inflammation that comes along with that if you're having patches of irritation and inflammation. So it helps calm that down, right? But the
Mm,
most thing that you can do with that is really protect yourself. Now, going to the next common thing that people get this time of year because it's so hot is fungus. Right, so people can get like foot fungus and they can get skin fungus, Tinea versicolor, right? And they call that the summer fungus. And it's because it's so hot outside that you're constantly like you sweat, your clothes stay moist and damp, all type parts of your body are staying moist and damp and wet, or you go to the beach, you go to the pool, you're outside doing stuff, and it creates an environment where there's this overgrowth of fungus, right?
mm.
So like it's not like you're nasty or dirty or you don't
Right,
have good
right.
hygiene habit. It is literally just the climate. It's really humid, like down here in Miami right now. It is like the air is hot, it's thick. You take a breath and you're like a salamander. You might as well turn into an amphibian because you're breathing half water right now. Right? So yeah. And so what happens when you get that infection though, it causes discoloration, it causes itching, it causes peeling, it causes all of those things. That's one of the reasons culturally, way back in the day, I don't know how much people do that, but you used to see people cover themselves in powder. Do you remember
Mm.
that was a thing?
Yep.
They used to like just douse themselves in powder, right?
Johnson
Right.
Johnson baby powder was a culprit for much of it, and we end up finding out that the powder was giving us cancer and all sorts of
Yeah, it's bad for your
diseases.
lungs. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Mm,
And so, people would douse themselves in powder to try to keep themselves dry, which would then, kind of help offset some of the things that can happen with that. We know that
yeah.
you're not supposed to be putting all of that. And some of the clothes that we used to wear back then were thicker, they're not as breathable. Some of the stuff that we have now is not as breathable. Some of the artificial man-made fibers are not that great either for breathability, right? Like the old
Mm,
polyester things like that, not that great. And so when you get that, typically you'll have areas of itching, discoloration, peeling, inflammation, right? So you can take like the topical antifungals, I'm going to give you a personal story. I've had
Well, you
foot
have to make it a
fungus.
quick story because the man's gonna cut us off in a couple minutes.
All
But
right,
I'm
the
sure it's a
man.
great
So
story.
anyway, my skin does not work well with the antifungals that you can prescribe or get from the pharmacy. I use tea
Mm.
tree oil, right? So that's
Oh,
like my thing. Tea tree oil is my antifungal of choice. And I
wow.
use CBD for that, right? Because I do a lot of running, lifting, blah, blah, blah. And my feet are hot sometimes. They don't smell. My feet are beautiful, by the way. They just get hot, right?
You know,
So
the gentleman doth protest too much.
yeah, I'm
And
just
now I'm
saying.
wondering,
I'm just
mm.
saying. Right. And so CBD is a great, it actually has antifungal properties and antimicrobial properties. There's research, you
Wow.
go again to the link in the blog, research from the NIH shows a lot of these properties. It is a wonderful plant. A lot of things that we're looking for can be found in nature, or they've been co-opted by Western medicine and then kind of like changed over and put into a patent, and then like you got to pay 5 times more for this, right? And so some of the things that we're looking for, like I said, tea tree oil, I prefer that than any antifungal. That works better for me. And
Wow.
I prefer CBD for my pruritus, which is itching. I prefer that more than like a Benadryl or anything. So after sun, if we're outside and your skin is hot or it's burning, whatever, itching, I prefer CBD than putting like a Benadryl or one of these like fake after sun kind of things. I just feel better personally, and it works for me. And so the last one I want to go through, the last one real quick, I do want to talk about is the razor bumps. So that's not a particularly summer thing, but it
Can
is
you do it
something
in
that happens.
45 seconds? Because I
Yes,
feel
it
like razor
happens to
bumps
both men
should
and
get
women.
its own conversation because black men are about to get kicked out of the military in mass for razor bumps. Can we save
So it
that one
happens
for
to
a
women
full
too.
conversation?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
well, yes. No, okay. But you know what's funny? All my life I've called them hair bumps. I never called them razor bumps
yeah.
when women get.
So yeah,
All my
the
life I
actual
had the
term is
term wrong.
all my life I've had these bumps. It's called pseudofolliculitis barbae, right?
Mm,
And so that is from the hair, the hair curling back into us. Women get it if you've had polycystic ovarian syndrome or any other hyperandrogenism, plucking the hairs and doing all stuff. So let's do another conversation on it. We'll do another
yeah,
conversation, right?
that'll be
We'll
good.
cover
That'll be good.
yeah. Yeah, and we'll
Okay.
cover heat rash. Heat rashes on today's thing as well. And there's a whole regimen. So if anybody's interested, go online, go to drdamas.com, click on the knowledge section, and you'll see today's article and all the previous articles and all the good stuff. And of course, there's links to all the research in there. I'm not just talking junk.
That's right.
I ain't just talking junk. I ain't making this up. Right? I actually go and pull the research out of there. And make sure that if you buy something, you put the name of our hostess with the mostest
That's it.
in the coupon code LURIE. Put it
And you
in, get
would
your
do that.
discount.
Get your discount. You would do that at drdamas.com, DRDAMAS.com. I'm only rushing because the man gonna rush us off.